Alright, another episode. So today's front end kind of clean up and reinstall and stuff like that, and a lot just like it's a lot of small little things, I guess you'd call it. So I have a list. I'm going to run through it. The first thing, I need to strip all the wire off the front of the car, not off but out of the way. Anything I can't get out of the way, I'll just like wrap cling film or mask around it or something like that, just to get it out of the way, or so it doesn't get paint on it. Then I need to kind of clean down wire wheel and sand everywhere that you would have seen that's already been welded, any of them surrounding areas, essentially everywhere from the A-pillar forward, really, like behind the front wings and stuff like that, as I mentioned before. Prep all that, put any rust converter on anywhere that looks like it needs it, prime it all, then underseal it all. What else have we got? Paint and prep the subframe that you would have seen, wire wheel everything, say, up under the arches, like where the radiator support goes, where the bonnet latch goes, all that kind of stuff, just the back of all that kind of stuff to get that ready for priming and underseal. Then I need to put the polyurethane bushes. Where are they? They're around there somewhere anyway. Oh yeah, there we go. They are the new poly bushes for the subframe. Install those and then put the subframe itself back in. So I guess we'll start with some of the smaller stuff. I don't have a lot of time today, so we'll get paint, or what's that? We'll get prepping and priming to like the crossbar thing at the front where the bonnet latch goes, and a few other little spots like that, stuff that's kind of easy. Then we'll get at the wiring and we'll see how far we get. So the boss man here, the wire wheel, while cleaning down up in here, it's actually in really good shape. An awful lot of seam sealer that seems to be in odd places, or else it's old undercoat, and I'm not entirely sure, but there's it's very thick there. It's like, must be a seam. So I'll go over all of that again. But everywhere you would expect to be rotten in most of these is fine, except there's a few little spots I'll show you in a second. But like up there goes in most of them, up here goes in most of them. And so what one wheel or one hole we did discover is right there. That's just on the inside of the lip there, and then there's another one just right there, just in front of it. So not a big deal. They're easy ones to patch over. I'm not even gonna break my bollocks now with those. I will put a patch over them. Okay, next on the list is the crossmember, the front part of the subframe. Like I'd shown in the welding video, it got a little repair earlier. So the plan with that is to just give the whole thing a nice good rub of a wire wheel, then maybe some of the rust converter, let that sit overnight, then prime it, and just a bit of satin black. Now it looks really rough and really scaly and all that, but I did give it a good rub already, and it needed a patch right there. Obviously you can see where it's welded along there and down here, and same on the other side. So essentially that kind of box shape there, and it did need a little square right there, you can also see. So the plan, as I said, I'm going to bring it outside, I think, and put it on the table in the garden to start wire wheeling it. So at least that way then I don't put spark marks on the car, or even if I brought it just outside the shed. My wife's car's out there and I don't want to damage any of those. So we'll bring it out into the shed, we'll throw on a quick time lapse and probably burn my arms. Okay, came out pretty good actually. Pretty pleased with that. It's nice and tidy. The wire wheel did discover a few little holes, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal. I'll weld them closed. But yeah, came up pretty good overall for something that's, you know, at the bottom of the car, always getting hit by water and all that kind of stuff. It's in good shape, especially considering it's whatever, 1991, probably built in 1990, considering it's about 32 years old. But yeah, came up pretty nice. You can much clearer see the other repair there now, but yeah, looks good. So I just need to get a little kind of cup shaped piece and give in there, or cup shaped wire wheel and give in there a quick rub. On both sides it's pretty crusty at the side, but I just need to wait for the grinders to charge. Subframe or crossmember or whatever you want to call it is painted, ready to go back in the car. Just a bit of satin black, it's nothing crazy. So the whole thing got the rust converting treatment. It got, as you saw, a good nice rub of the wire wheel. It came out really good, as you've seen already. Cleaned out in there where the bushings go. Everything, you know, welded up the few little gaps that was in it, ground it all down. Looks good. A couple of coats of primer and a bit of satin black, and then that is piece for across the top. The latch, bonnet latch bolts in there, and then that piece bolts in here and here. Right, going pretty good. So a lot of this episode is just going to be pictures and a couple of time lapses chopped together because it's taken a couple of days because I've been back to work and so on. So, but anyway, we're doing alright so far. We've got hopefully you'll be able to see this. We've got a new sump and gasket put on. Pretty good. The old one, the gasket was super perished, I'd say. Whether it's the original gasket, I don't know, but definitely the original sump. But I'll keep it because you never know when you might need another sump. While that was to do that, you need to move the exhaust. So while doing that, I took out. Now I had painted that manifold cover before, but it got kind of just like spotty and sort of shitty. So what I might do is I have like a satin clear, like a matte clear, I suppose. I might put a bit on that and see if that makes any difference, or kind of helps it stay a bit better. The torsion rods or radius rods, whatever you want to call them, for the subframe, primed. They're just waiting on a bit of black. Oh yeah, the shock forks primed, ready to go, and all this stuff has been rust treated as well. The other arch inside there has had a little repair. Just, I don't have my light, but it was, you can kind of see just the edge of it right there, little patch about 2 inches. In there is primed and waiting for a little bit of whatever it's called, the underseal. So yeah, going pretty decent. Progress is going to slow a lot in the next couple of days, I suppose, because I'm going back to work. But because I can't get over how much I've gotten done in the last, say, 7 or 10 days. So I might take another week off work pretty soon. So the last thing I'm waiting on, I was looking at the axles. I was going to replace just the boots, and maybe then I thought, sure, if I'm replacing the boots, I'll replace the joints, blah blah blah. And I figured, like I usually do, fuck it, I may as well go down the rabbit hole. So I've ordered new front axles, a pair of them, brand new, from America. So hopefully have them in 2 weeks time, I think it said. I also ordered a clutch slave cylinder. Easy job to swap that, just because it was cheap, like 30 quid or something. And I think that's it. I'm still waiting on the power steering cooler. I could put the whole car back together now and be done and dusted and drive it, with the exception of the rear rust repair, of course. But there's no point putting it all back together to take it all apart to do the old power steering cooler. So hopefully that'll, I'm expecting it this week, but whether it will be this week or not, I don't know. But it's all coming along really nice. Everything down here is all treated and ready for, or done with the wax oil and all that kind of stuff. This side, as you would have seen in the quick pictures, starting to put back together, tidied up the washer bottle. The water in that had probably been sitting there, I'd say, for maybe, I don't even know how many years, 3-4 years easy. And the smell of it was unbelievable. Like, it hadn't been opened or nothing, and I guess just being stagnant, stale. The fucking stink was unreal. It was rotten. But so yeah, carry on. I'll be back again when there's another little bit of progress. Last little update. So for this one, I have the suspension all back together. It's all just back together enough that I can pull the car out and turn it around, bring it the other way into the shed to start the rust repair on the back. Just throwing the headlights in. I got an email saying my power steering cooler isn't going to be here next week. Same with my drive shafts, so the old ones are just back in for the time being. There's no point delaying, you know, a couple of days of the project just for the sake of waiting for those, so it's not a big deal. Also, the slave cylinder hasn't arrived yet, so not a big deal. But so yeah, it's come along pretty good. That's about it for the front end cleanup. I was going to put the front wings back on and the arch liners and stuff like that, but I want to order leader lines and a couple of fittings for the air stuff. So again, as I said before, I don't want to put everything back together perfect, done and dusted, to only have to take it all apart again to get it NCT'd and put the air stuff in and all that. But otherwise, I'm very pleased with how it's all come up. Let me grab a light so you might be able to see things a little bit better. So a lot of the things I've just painted, like I just painted up that engine mount bracket, repainted that. That's way too glossy. I'm going to rub that back and do it again with some satin black. But all the progress from the welding, it's all like undercoated and stuff there. I didn't bother. Well, I'll need to do a few little spots. Well, you can't really make it up there. There's a few little spots that when I'm swapping the oil cooler will be done as well. Same this side. All looks nice and tidy. All down here where the radiator sits. I'm not going to bother putting the radiator in it now, just because like it'll be fine just to turn the car around. Because if I do, it'll be a pain in the ass to get the oil cooler out. Everything here is back together. All the wiring is round back, ready. Essentially, the car is ready to move again. So all it really needs to do for now, excuse me, is just get turned around so I can start on the back. Other than that, the front end cleanup is pretty much done. There's a few small, like I have, as you would have seen like last year in a video, I have little clips to go in there in the like the wiper cowl. I might even lift that old cowl just to make sure everything is okay under there, but realistically there's probably no need. I have the new clips to go in there, all NOS stuff, should be fine. And then once the car is actually fully done and dusted, like NCT'd, and I have the air stuff back in it, I'll give everything here a clean. Like it's gotten really dusty because it's been sitting around for a year and so on. But other than that, it has come together quite nicely. I think it looks really good. Like a lot of it looks nearly like new parts almost, you know. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this one. There will be another little bit of progress. Like I said, I'm back to work, so progress is going to slow down a little bit. But if I get out here once or twice a week for a couple of hours, or most of a Sunday or a Monday or something like that, we'll make a bit of progress. The rear welding is next. I'll probably do that. There's a couple of holes in the boot and around the boot, the seal, you know, the back lights and all that. I'll get all that done, and then I'll probably move on to the arches and the seals, depending on how confident I am. I don't know, I'm kind of overthinking that stuff a little bit, but we'll work it out. The front went okay, so hopefully they won't be so bad as well, but time will tell, I guess. So that's going to be it for this one. You know, the usual shit. Keep an eye out. We'll be back again pretty soon. Subscribe to my OnlyFans, and we'll see you again.